Hi, everybody. I'm so excited that you are joining this session. I am going to do a very, very fast overview about internships, the pathway to jobs, OPT, CPT, some of these terms that maybe you've heard before, or maybe they're new to you, and you really kind of want to understand what the outlook in the landscape is for this. So one of the great things about studying in the US on a student visa is that it does give you the ability to have on-campus jobs, to do internships off campus, and to lead to an opportunity to work once you graduate. So some of the things that students often get confused by are what some of the rules are around this. So I'll start with an on-campus job. So on-campus jobs are very common for all students on campus. I had a lot of on-campus jobs when I was a student, and they were a variety of activities. And so I'll tell you a little bit about what I did as a student job. So my first on-campus job, I was a chemistry student. I was on the pre-medicine track. So I was hired by the chemistry department to clean all of the labware at the end of the day. So literally my job was to clean all of the glassware that was used in all of the labs, which sounds terrible initially, but honestly, it was a great job because I could just turn my music on, clean all the glassware, dance around the lab. I kind of enjoyed time to myself. It was kind of a nice mental break from studying and being in classes. It also gave me the opportunity to get to know some of the chemistry faculty members a little bit better than I ever would have just in classes and labs alone. As I got older, I changed jobs. By the time I graduated, I was working in the student center as one of the conference coordinators and like a big event coordinators. So on-campus jobs, there's so many different things you can do on campus. You can work for a department, you can grade, you can be a teaching assistant, you can work in the library, work with athletics. My office, the admissions office, we hire about 100 students a year to help give tours, call potential students and admitted students, things like that. So you just have to be adamant about trying to find a job. It's not going to happen right away in your first week of joining a university. It does take a little bit of time to find a job, find open positions, and apply for them. The biggest rule when it comes to your visa in a job, an on-campus job, is that during the semester, you can only work a maximum of 20 hours per week. And honestly, 20 hours per week is a lot of time, especially when you're going to a full-time class schedule, trying to study, trying to have a life, hopefully getting some sleep in there, hopefully eating as well. Honestly, I tell students, especially in your first year of university, if you have an on-campus job, don't work more than 10 or 12 hours a week. After that, it just becomes way too much to manage. The amount of money you can earn at an on-campus job is enough to pay for a lot of your day-to-day expenses. So things like your mobile phone, or if you want to go to the movies or go shopping or go off campus to eat. It's not going to be enough money to pay for your tuition or fully pay for your living costs. So that's something to keep in mind as you're budgeting for university. So one of the things, though, that you're going to want to make sure you do during university, no matter what program you're studying, is getting involved outside of the classroom in things like research and internship. These are very, very important when you go to get a job, because when you graduate university and you're looking for a job, employers, especially a lot of the big companies, want to see that not only have you learned an excellent education in the classroom, but you've also started to practice these skills outside of the classroom. So this is where doing internships, research, volunteering, those types of things become very, very important. Kind of like we tell you right now in high school. These are the things that you need to be doing for your college applications. These are still the things that you're going to need to do during university to get a job after university. One of the great things about U.S. universities, though, is that we have an office on campus. Job is solely to help you with this process. So every university is going to have a career center or career advising center, something usually named something along those lines. Their job is to help prepare you to get an internship and help prepare you to enter the workforce. A lot of students make the mistake of not going to the Career Center until maybe a month before they want an internship. The reality is you should actually start interacting with the Career Center your very first semester of university. They do so many different events throughout the year that even if you're a year or two away from getting an internship, these events are going to help you be successful. So they'll do things like events where you practice networking and you practice just introducing yourself to people in a professional way, to events where they teach you what professional dress is. Because in the US, there's so many different levels of business wear. There's business professional, which is like a full American suit. There's business casual. There's like another type of casual. And so you want to know kind of what those expectations are. They host things like etiquette dinners. So if you ever have to take a client out to dinner, how do you do that? When you go to a fancy restaurant and you have 5 forks, which fork do you use? Things like that they will cover. They also host resume writing workshops, cover letter writing workshops, career and internship fairs, which is a great place for you to go introduce yourself to future employers or places that hire students for research. So it's important to practice all of these skills and to really get involved. And then the other thing they do when you're ready for an internship is they generally have a job board where they will post every internship that they know about. So from different employers that have reached out to them, different places that their students from the university typically go do internships. So you're going to want to watch this job board because that's really going to be the easiest way to actually find an internship. When you're ready to apply, definitely have the Career Center review your cover letter, your resume, give you feedback, do a practice interview if they offered that. So that way you're ready for an internship. When it comes to your actual internship and where your visa comes into play. So if you're going to do an off-campus internship, you're going to do it through something called CPT or Curricular Practical Training. And there are some different rules about this as well with your visa. So first, the standard rule of no more than 20 hours a week during the school year. If it is a break, like summer break or Christmas break, you are allowed to work up to 40 hours a week. So it's great in the summer if you have a full-time internship where you're working 40 hours a week and maybe you're making some money. This actually is enough money, depending on where you live in the US, to help actually save up and either start your own savings or enough where you could start paying for your day-to-day costs in your day-to-day actual apartment, transportation, things like that, which is really nice and can help you in the long run. One of the other rules is that you could only do CPT for a maximum of 12 months. So you do have to be careful about if you're going to do your CPT during an academic year, so during the fall and spring semester, that you keep it under 12 months. If you go over 12 months, that starts to take away from your OPT, which happens once you graduate. So let's say you do 2 summer internships, 3 months each, so you've done 6 months of CPT. The great thing about this is A, it goes on your resume, and B, sometimes it can lead to a job. So then we talk about the job in OPT. So OPT is optional practical training. It comes after you graduate from university. You do have to apply for this, but you stay on your student visa. Your International Student Support Services Office will help you with all of the work for these types of things. You do have to plan ahead. Do not wait till last minute to fill out these forms and this paperwork because right now, especially, there is a long waiting time for approval for it. So you want to make sure you get the approval as soon as you can. So you apply for OPT, you have your job offer, maybe it's from your internship and they've now offered you a job or something like that. So now you're doing your OPT. So the rules on your OPT is that you have to be working full time. But depending on what program you've graduated in, you can only do your OPT for 12 months. Or if you're doing a STEM program, a STEM-related program, you can do it for 3 years, which is nice. The great thing, as I said, is you stay on your student visa, so you don't have to worry about changing visas. It gives you that time to get them some career opportunities and to build that into your resume. And maybe during that time, you decide you want to go to graduate school after that, which is great because then if you go to graduate school, your CPT and OPT clock starts over. So let's say you finish your bachelor's degree, you do your 1 year OPT, you go to graduate school, you get a whole nother year of OPT after that. So doing your OPT is not only a great way to get experience in the field, but you can also earn money and save money to pay for your master's degree at that point, which is pretty awesome. So I know that was the fastest overview of internships, CPT, and OPT you probably are ever going to get, but I wanted to keep it quick. I do see a couple questions in the chat box that I'll answer. But can we extend your OPT? So the only way to extend it is if you're graduating in a STEM field, then you do get to do the STEM extension for a total of 3 years. Is the H-1B visa easy to get? So this is a tough question to answer because, as you guys know, we have a new president in the White House. There's a lot of rumors about what could be happening when it comes to immigration and the H-1B. I would say this is a favorable change that could be coming, making it easier to get an H-1B, or at least easier for companies to help you apply for your H-1B. Usually what happens is once you do your OPT, especially if a company loves you and then they're able to sponsor your H-1B, they will help you with that process and help file the paperwork with an immigration lawyer, things like that. So it is possible. Of course, in the last couple of years, it's been very, very tricky with the old administration, but going forward, it could be a great time for you to come do your bachelor's degree, or if you're looking at master's degrees, do your master's degree, your OPT, and then see if it can turn into an H-1B after that. That was a great question. So which is the best visa to study in the US? So there's only one visa type to study in the US, and that's going to be for full time, and that's going to be the F1 visa. So unless you're coming for one semester through an exchange program, which would be a J visa, you're going to have to come on your F1 visa. So, and then I answered the questions about H-1B. The question about the H-1B lottery. So like I said, I think that's one of the big things that'll probably change, is I don't think it's going to be so much of a lottery system anymore. And then getting a job. So we talked about the on-campus job. The only way to get an off-campus job is through the CPT, through your internship. So I think with that, I've answered all of the questions, and I know that's the fastest overview you're ever going to have of internships, CPT, and OPT. If you do follow-up questions, I believe you guys will all get my contact information. I can put my email address in the chat as well, and I'd be happy to follow up with any additional questions you guys have about the college search, about internships, options, and things that you have. Thank you guys all for joining me quickly. And with that, I will turn it back over to the host.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Megan. I'm going to end the session now. Thanks for joining us. Bye.